What is up, people? So, the election season is in full swing, and all the political parties are trotting out their candidates like show painters. Gallop, gallop, gallop. They're out there canvassing and kissing babies, and generally doing whatever it takes for them to get your vote. But are you struggling to decide who to vote for? Are you asking yourself, should I vote along party lines, or should my vote depend on the representative offered in my constituency? Are you looking for a detailed breakdown of each party's platform so that you can be better informed as you make your electoral decision? Well, I got bad news for you, because I have no plans to answer any of that. What I'm going to do in this video is give you a brief overview, including my opinions on each political party participating in this upcoming general election. At the end, I'll tell you how I'm going to vote. So first, before we get started, hit that like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and remember, please, these are just my views. Just my views, just my opinions, right? So, let's do this. First up, the winners of the 2017 general election, the Progressive Labour Party. At this point, the PLP is a well-oiled political machine. Crafty leadership, a strong online presence, and a zealous support base help to marginalize and sometimes outright terminate any and all competition. One thing that always bugs me about the PLP is that for a party with the word progressive in their name, some of their policies are hypocritical. In the last few years, they've actively fought against same-sex marriage and taken a hostile stance on immigration. That's not progressive, it's regressive. But this is the party that's currently in control of the government. And they also enjoy a supermajority of seats in the House of Assembly. Despite this, and despite the fact that they have controlled the government for 18 of the last 22 years, they continue to deflect blame and refuse to take responsibility for anything negative that happens under their watch. For example, one dead horse they love to beat is the airport deal brokered by the OBA. It doesn't matter what your opinion is on the airport. Good, bad, you like it, you hate it, whatever. The point is, a single capital project isn't the reason we're drowning in a sea of government debt, and it's not the reason our economy is on the decline. Those things happen as a result of many years of bad finances and short-sighted policies that stifle growth. The whole airport thing is a distraction. They don't want you to look at the numbers and to think critically, because when you do that, it becomes clear that the PLP was the party that could have presented this situation in the first place, but they didn't. And that's my issue with the PLP right now. They're making the same promises they made in the last election, and the one before that, and the one before that. This time, it feels like they're asking us to vote PLP based solely on their performance handling COVID-19.
The hardest day was the day I learned about the first coronavirus death in Bermuda.
Coronavirus hit Bermudian women really hard.
I'm impressed with the way David Burt and the government have handled the COVID-19 crisis.
The coronavirus.
I agree, they did a great job, but what happened to reducing the cost of living? Where are the fintech and the casino gaming jobs? Where's the marijuana legislation? What happened to the education reform? They're all promises they've been making for years, you know? I literally voted PLP in every election since I was old enough to vote, but I think that changes this year. Next up, the current opposition party, the One Bermuda Alliance.
What is your role and position as the OBA leader? Like, what do you do?
Yeah, it's rather interesting. When I talk to young people, they're not really clear about most political positions. As the opposition leader, it is my job. There's two sides to the coin. You go to all of the functions, you're invited to cocktail parties and the likes. You know, you got to dress up and meet all of the different dignitaries. Just yesterday, I had the opportunity to meet the new U.S. Consul General, Lee Rosato.
So, as much fun as it is to laugh at the OBA sometimes, and Lord knows I'm guilty of it myself, let me make one thing clear. The opposition is a crucial part of a functioning government. It's their job to keep the ruling party in check. They should be criticizing policies, raising awareness of wrongdoings, and generally working to restrict powers and prevent the government from becoming authoritarian. I say all this so you fully understand how serious it is that since losing the 2017 election, the OBA has completely failed at its duty on almost every level. They haven't just been bad at their role. In some cases, they've been downright incompetent. It's best illustrated by the fact that the upcoming election is a foregone conclusion. Despite accomplishing absolutely nothing since the last election, everybody knows PLP is going to win. The only question is whether OBA is going to lose even more seats in the House or not. My guess is that they probably will. And the thought of a single party controlling more than 70% of the House of Assembly should scare everybody. That's not how it's supposed to be. But you know what? Things have actually been looking up for OBA lately, right? Now, if they can remove that one glaring weakness, I'm liking many of the new candidates they've been rolling out. I think they can really take the party in a positive direction. So hopefully we'll have a more functional opposition going forward. But at the moment, I don't believe they're in a good place. And I don't think a vote for OBA will be very responsible. Maybe next time. And now we're moving to the new kids on the block. Free Democratic Movement Bermuda. Is that how you say it? I don't know, but we're just going to call them FDM from now on. So, in an interesting new development, former PLP leader Mark Bean has launched a new party, a third option, Free Democratic Movement Bermuda, FDM. Not only that, but they're also planning to field candidates in this general election. So clearly they've been planning this for a while. Unfortunately, as I write this script, they haven't released much more information than that. We don't know who the candidates are, we don't know what constituencies they're running in, we also don't know much about their platform. But they're saying that most of these questions should get answered in the coming days and weeks. But we do have some information right now. Most significantly is Mark Bean himself. So when rumors of the party first started circulating, I was worried that it would be a bunch of kids or people with no real experience in politics. Instead, Mark and the founding members are well-established leaders in the community, with a wide range of experience and specialties. Look, Gavin, that's a two-stick guy. He's cool. In a recent interview, Mark says that the party was designed to maintain and uphold a healthy democratic system and to provide a vision of policies that stimulate Bermuda's economic and cultural development. Now, here's the important part. To effectively move beyond identity and race politics and to cultivate the manifestation of an open, benevolent, and free society. I love that line. Because I feel like identity politics is something I really wish we could move on from, Unfortunately, it's ingrained in our system right now. We've had so much history between PLP, UBP/OBA that identity and race politics is just something that's always going to be a part of the system, as long as these two are going at each other. And unfortunately, again, in this system, it's these days, in the year 2020, it's being used as a tool by some politicians to rally their base and to push their own agendas. And that's not how it should be. Another interesting bit is their education policy, which is they have a commitment to abolish middle schools, reintroduce decentralized secondary schools, and downsize the Department of Education. Basically, revert the education system back to what it was like when I was in school, like high school in the 90s. These are all things that PLP's been dancing around for years, Since they took power back in 98, they've talked about doing this, but they've never done it for whatever reason. It's not until recently that I think it's Rubin, whoever the current Minister of Education is, can't remember his name right now, is finally start gearing up to maybe start this process of abolishing the middle schools and decentralizing the secondary schools. Although they've said it before, so I don't know whether to believe them on that. But these guys, Mark Bean and his crew, they seem serious about it. I don't know where this party is going to go. I don't know. I don't know if they'll win any seats in this election. I don't know if they'll even be around for the next one. That said, I love what I see so far, However, I need to see more. I need to see much, much more before I can commit my vote to anyone in their party. I don't even know if they're gonna have a candidate in my area, but you know, once I see more from them, maybe I'll consider them. But for now, not voting for FDM. So that covers all three parties, and you know my brief opinion on each one, and I know what you're thinking. He said he was going to tell us who he was voting for, but he already said he's not voting for any of these three. You are correct. You are absolutely right. Good catch. So the reason I'm not voting for any of these parties is because unless something drastic happens between now and October 1st, I plan to spoil my vote. When you spoil a ballot, you invalidate it by, say, selecting multiple candidates or defacing the ballot in some way. Generally, you're just making it impossible for them to tell who your vote is for. I'm doing this because I believe voting is an important civic duty, right? Especially for being a black person. My ancestors literally shed blood so that I could vote. So it's not something I take lightly. I believe in the electoral process, but I just don't believe that the choice is wide enough right now, or that the current political parties meet my needs. I'll participate, but I want my ballot counted in its own invalid category, or however they do it. And if enough people do the same, people take notice, you know? Imagine if they counted 1 or 2 dozen ballots that were intentionally invalidated. That says something. That's it, man. Remember, all this is just my opinion. Don't let it sway you one way or the other. I just want people to know their options and to ask questions and to do their own research. Don't listen to political ads or people on social media, and especially don't listen to assholes like me that are just criticizing people from the comfort of my own home. Be a critical thinker. Do your own research and decide for yourself. Hopefully you're registered to vote already, because it's too late now. And remember to hit the like button. It really helps the channel out. And subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll either see you at the polling station or on the next video. Peace.